All right, everybody, welcome to the Edge City Patagonia orientation. So wonderful to see you all. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. All right, so I'm Timur. I'm just going to ask the folks at the back to come in. Tell them on if you're there. You can get folks settled. Thank you. Awesome. All right, so I'm Timur. I'm one of the founders of Edge City. You'll be seeing a lot of me today. That won't necessarily always be the case. I'll try and get other folks to come up and do orientations, things like that. If you're interested in getting involved, come find me. But today, the agenda is quite simple. We're going to go through what is Edge City and give you a bit of a sense of what we're doing here. And then I'll give you a few details to get you oriented around Patagonia specifically. Then later on at 4 p.m. we'll have lightning talks of some of the people doing experiments and offerings. At 5 p.m. we'll have a residency fair just outside so you can get to know some of the residency leads and what they're doing throughout the month. And then at 6:30 we'll have our opening ceremony, which will be at a different venue. It's called Parados Lonja. It's on the lakeside and it's beautiful. And that'll be a chance for us to celebrate and meet some of the local partners as well. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to just talk for about 5-10 minutes about what is Edge City, just to give you some context. If you saw the talk from the Network State Conference, some of this will be repetitive, but I think this will be a helpful thing. And Tella, maybe just if you can go in the back and either ask folks to quieten down or close the door. Awesome. All right, so what is Edge City? Edge City is what we call a society incubator, and we do three things primarily. We host month-long pop-up villages for people at the frontiers of tech, science, and culture. You are in one right now on day one, so welcome. We also incubate and accelerate startups, institutions, and entirely new fields of thought. And ultimately, we're growing something called the Network Society Movement. So there is a lot of different projects that began with something called Zuzalu, which was about 2.5 years ago, that we collaborated on with Vitalik Buterin, and has now grown into this flourishing ecosystem of projects. So in just under 2 years that we've been around, we've had over 11,000 people at our events. We've done 7 of these pop-up cities around the world, across 4 continents. We've had people from 80 countries represented. I actually probably need to update that since kicking off today. We've had dozens of startups and projects come through Edge, and we've raised over $1 million in grants for early stage builders. We've had over 150 kids attending. There have been 5 babies conceived at or because of Edge, so you can take credit for those as well. And you can see some of the amazing partners that we've had the pleasure to work with from across crypto, frontier tech, and in general, kind of science and academia. So this is the Edge City world map. You can see where we've been. These are starting out as temporary hubs, and over time, some of them are becoming permanent. That's very much part of our theory of change. So in California, we're building a new town, which I'll touch on, and we were just in Bhutan a few weeks ago, where they're building a new city that we're collaborating with as well. So what is our approach? How are we doing this? It all starts at the villages. We aim for these to be some of the highest leverage months of your year. We fill them with 500 to 1,000 curious, kind, and high agency people. And we aim to create an environment that's the size of a village or the size of a small town like San Martin, but with the dynamism of a city. So the new ideas and people and connections and community that you would get in an urban center. We have village building blocks like residencies and themed tracks. The residencies, many of you are part of one, and we'll touch on that in a sec. And we have 4 main principles that we organize the villages around, which inform the experience that you're about to have. They are default healthy, so there's healthy food around town, we have daily workouts, we have plenty of time in nature this month, so everyone should leave healthier than they arrived. They're multidisciplinary, so we have people from all sides of technology, science, culture. We have policymakers who are coming from the Argentine government later on. So it's really a wide diversity of topics here. And this is important because there's so much innovation that happens at the edges where these fields intersect. We focus on building and co-creation. So everyone ships while they're at Edge, and everyone co-creates the experience with each other. And we'll touch on how you can do that. And finally, they're multi-generational. So we create an environment for kids to thrive and learn. There are already a few kids who are here. There will be less in Patagonia this month than we normally have during the summers because of school years, but there will be some around, and you should, very much aim to be good, role models for them. I feel like there are so many environments in life or in normal, in the default world where kids are separated entirely from adults, and we're trying to see how we can create more cohesive communities that are multi-generational. This also counts for people bringing their parents, their grandparents as well. So it's really, we've had 6-week-old babies and we've had 87-year-old folks come and spend time with us. So ultimately, we're creating just an incredible environment for people and their friends and families to spend time, connect, and build what they're building. The breadth and the depth of the experiences that you can have here, from like the sauna and the hikes and the cold plunges, really connects people faster than just being at a conference or just grabbing coffee, catch-ups with people wherever you live. And that's really important because to start something like this kind of network society, you don't just need, a big vision. You actually need people to care about each other and to have shared those moments of connection, have those memories in order to actually want to start something like a new society together. And with this many people from all over the world, it's also just the best place to incubate new ideas and projects. Because, when people are flourishing, their ideas are flourishing as well. So I'm just going to touch on 4 or 5 quick case studies of what some of those ideas are, what have people built in the space. These are chosen somewhat at random. There's plenty more examples like these, but just to give you a sense of what you could hope to achieve in the space. So here's a startup called Constellation. This was at the last Edge Esmeralda. Avery Krieger, the founder, the guy in the middle, he came to Edge Esmeralda, which is our event in California, as part of the Long Journey residency. He had an idea that he had had for years while getting his neuroscience PhD at Stanford. And in the 30 days he spent with us, he ran this applied neurotech experiment that you can see happening on the right here. He collected one of the largest multimodal data sets of its kind. He found a lead investor, hired his team, and raised the beginnings of his first round. So now he's off to the races, one of the hottest neurotech startups in the Bay. It just kind of shows you, if you are building a startup, how much progress you can make in that time. Here's an example of some applied research. So vasocomputation is a new field that's growing very fast in the consciousness space. Mike Johnson is a well-known theorist. He might already be here, or he will be here for the whole month. He's, again, been developing this idea for years, but it's at Edge that it's able to go from philosophy to theory to practice. So we had some of the first talks about this, gained some momentum, and now we're actually running a 6-month trial with leading engineers and scientists. An example of field building. So we've been supporting a movement called DIAC from its inception. DIAC is Decentralized Democratic Differential Defensive Acceleration. It's a mouthful. But it's a beautiful concept and idea from Vitalik. And this is a relatively new concept. So how do you grow a meme and a concept like this? Well, it starts from the theory and the philosophy, but then through gatherings and idea sharing, and then actually supporting the builders who are going to make the projects that push this forward. So we've actually launched a grant program with Vitalik called Shift Grants to fund people building in this space. And this month we're running a residency with Protocol Labs. So yeah, you'll get to know some of those builders as well. We also support brilliant young builders with the Edge City Fellowship. So at every village, we give a full ride to a cohort of folks under 25 years old who are working on something really exceptional. And fellows get mentorship and follow-on funding. Nick Ford is a fellow from the last batch. He has a great quote here: "Edge has a funny way of almost certainly changing your life," which is very sweet. You'll see Nick running around, and actually he's going to present here in a moment during the lightning talks. And lastly, here are some of the examples of the new cities and governments that we're building and collaborating with. So Esmeralda is a walkable, family-friendly frontier tech town just an hour north of the Bay Area in San Francisco. We host an event called Edge Esmeralda. Many of you have been there. And it's really a chance for the community to come together and co-create that vision whilst also building their projects. And a couple of weeks ago, I led a group, an Edge City group, to Bhutan. We met with government officials. We did a tour of the site of the new Galefu Mindfulness City. I think out of that group, actually, over half of them are going to be here this month, so you get to ask them. Priyanka's already here. And yeah, so they broke ground on this new, beautiful vision. Earlier this year, we were some of the first foreigners to be able to come and actually go see it in person. It's it's a bunch of bulldozers right now, so it's work in progress, but it's a really cool vision how to combine economic growth and mindfulness rooted in Buddhist values. So those are some of the things that we've been working on, and there's plenty more that many of you can kind of add to with your projects, and we'd really love to see that. So what is the roadmap? How are we actually approaching this, and how do we see the vision of where we're going? So ultimately, we're building the infrastructure that incubates these new kinds of societies. And the roadmap starts with the villages. We create environments where people thrive, and that kind of bootstraps this community from day one. That's global. The global part's important because we're not just trying to recreate SF or New York in some other place. We actually want to build a global network with global nodes. Then, with that community, we incubate new projects and ideas, and that includes both the tech and the culture that underpins this community, but it also is the successful startups that will allow our ecosystem to grow sustainable value if we invest in them and get upside. And then ultimately, we're building a network of hubs around the world. So like I mentioned, many of them will start as temporary gatherings, but then over time, they will become permanent. And ultimately, this will result in what we call a network city. So essentially, a city that's not necessarily contiguous in the same place, neighborhoods all around the world that you as community members can move between freely, take learnings from each place, and spread them around the world. So just a note on why are we doing this, why now, and why our approach. So my sense, and I imagine many of you agree, is that the world is currently in a moment of transition, and things seem like they're about to get a lot crazier. And so we need new environments to incubate new institutions, new ways of governing, new ways of building community that are actually suited to meet the challenges and the opportunities of our current time. The current institutions that we're working with were the right answer potentially to a prior time. They're not right now, so we need new versions of these things. And so the question is, where are they going to come from? And I don't think those answers are going to come from think tanks or traditional accelerators or for like B2B SaaS. I think they're going to come from groups of high agency people that spend meaningful time together at the edge of what's possible and actually live in the way that almost prefigures the world that we want to see. And so we need communities like this that can actually take advantage of the benefits of tech and science, but also be thoughtful around the social technologies and the cultures and the norms and the practices that can actually be the bedrock of a human community that's meaningful. So it's not just like full accelerate at all costs. Let's actually be thoughtful about the direction that we're going and do things that give our lives meaning rather than, just like non-stop doom scrolling. So we're trying to create a place that's not just an event or a gathering, it's actually a place where the future can take root. So why are we here in Patagonia? First of all, as you've seen, it's just a beautiful, stunning town. It's really perfect for something like Edge. This has been a vision of ours from the beginning, to do a mountain town, a ski town on its off-season. Obviously, there's fresh mountain air, it's walkable, there's a beautiful lake, we can go on hikes, spend time together. But ultimately, it's also a place that has some history with being a place of frontier tech adoption. It's actually one of the biggest LATAM crypto companies. It's called Lemon. They were born here, and they essentially incubated their entire product here by getting the whole town onboarded to crypto, which we're now doing the V2 of with our world experiment. And we are really excited to be in LATAM, to be in Argentina, ahead of DevConnect, which is a big conference in a few weeks. So we're grateful for the Ethereum community for bringing us here. And we just want to see how this works. We have a hunch that a mountain town will be one of the kind of ultimate locations of an edge city, potentially the edge city. And so we want to see how that goes, and please give us your thoughts while you're here. Okay, a few notes to get oriented around Edge City Patagonia. These are a bit more logistical, a bit more real and on the ground. Okay, hands up, who is in the Telegram group? Great. Hands up, who is overwhelmed by the Telegram group? All right, about 50%. So I'm just going to give you a couple quick pointers. One is mute the whole thing, just mute everything, and then go in and unmute the channel called Organizer Announcements. there is a channel right above that. It's pinned at the top. Right above that, there's something called Read This First that has the 10 key links that you need, from the social layer calendar to the wiki. Please check in those places first if you have a question, or even search your question in the Telegram group and see if someone else has asked it. If you're curious about bicycles, search the word bicycle. Chances are someone already asked it. But the info will also be in the wiki. We'll be updating it throughout the month. Please write in intros in the intro channel. This is a serendipity machine moment. You will write your intro, you'll state what you're interested in, and someone will DM you and be like, oh my God, I also love 18th century archaeology, you know. So you guys can get some tea and a coffee around that. So please do that if you haven't. Do that in the next few hours. Social layer is the community calendar. There is a link for that in the Read This First section. This is where you will see everything that's happening. It's also where you can put your own event. So if you just absolutely hate Telegram and it's deeply overwhelming, you will still have an okay time. You'll have a great time if you just look at the social layer. Every morning you'll see what's happening, all the different events around the village, and what you can get involved with. And the wiki, like I mentioned, is at tinyurl.com/ecpwiki. Here's the village. Here's the village map. So right now we are at Le Village Hotel, right there in the middle. We have about a dozen venues around town. Everything's within roughly a 10 to 15 minute walk. We would love to hear the finds that you have, like your favorite coffee shop, your favorite quick lunch spots, your favorite restaurants. Please go and explore lots of these things. You'll be running into people without even trying. Just to call out a few, so Le Village is here, just 3 blocks to the top right. There is the BIT co-working hub. So that's the main co-working. Right next to it, there is something called the Casa Histórica event space. It's also co-working, but it's more kind of social or loud. You can take calls in there. We have the well-being hub that's kind of near the bottom left there. So that will be where some of the sound sessions happen, the yoga, some of the meditations. And then top left, we have the Del Sauco Apart and Spa. That's where the DIAC residency is, and some other folks are staying there, but it's also the sauna for the entire village. The sauna has 3 opening hours. There's one in the morning, I think 7:30 to 9:30. Then I think 5 till 7 p.m. And then for the evening heads, it's 8 to 11 p.m. So I think there was already a kickoff session yesterday. We're getting as many of the businesses in town onboarded to crypto as possible with World, so it's super easy to pay. You've probably already realized that in Argentina, money is a little bit more complicated than you might be used to. But it's also an incredible opportunity because all the folks in town are so excited about crypto. They actually understand the need for it, and they see the purpose of this bit of frontier technology. We have over a dozen residencies that are making up kind of the heartbeat of the village. So, get to know them, get engaged. Many of them are already here, and you'll get to meet them at 5 p.m. in the courtyard down there. Many of them are offering programming. They'll have open houses. You can kind of go visit, and all of this will be on the social layer. And if you want to host a residency in the future, we would love to hear about it. We're really enjoying this model of having the village be kind of comprised of many different communities that have their own vibe going on, their own people, their own offerings. And if you're interested in doing something like that, come and talk to me. All right, so finally, goals for the month. Here are some, not mandatory, but suggestions. We highly recommend daily movement practice or getting out into nature. Even if you just take a quick run by the lake or join the morning run club, we're going to have more offerings throughout the month that we're going to set up, like HIIT classes. So try and really move your body once per day. Try and ship something while you're here. That can be a brand new startup. It can be a side quest that you've been questing on for a while. It can be an art project. It can be some merch. It can be whatever you want. But you will feel much better if you get involved in some kind of progress on your project. So highly, highly recommend that. And you will also feel better if you get involved in the co-creation of this experience. So join into sessions, you can run your own, you can organize a hike, you can share something unique to you, something you're an expert in, or at least rabbit holing down recently. And yeah, That's really, it's really quite simple. 3 simple things, and you'll have an incredible time. All right, that's all from me. We have about 5 minutes till the lightning talks. Any questions I can help answer? Actually, one thing I want to do is just point out the core team. So we have, who do we have here? We have Telemon, if you want to raise your hand. Everyone look at Telemon. He organizes hikes. You don't need to clap for him. He's fine. But you should clap for Sophie. So if you want to raise your hand, yay. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone deserves applause. Who else is here? Are Anna and Laura here? No, they are our local production team. They're absolutely wonderful. You'll get a chance to meet them. Who else from our core team is here? Sophia? Well, Sophia, you'll meet as well. She's running all the residencies. All right. And say again? Yeah, minus points for yeah, I should take attendance for the core team. All right. Any questions? Yeah, please.
Is there anything we should know to not disturb the locals?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Is there anything we should know to not disturb the locals? I might ask a local to give me more context on that, but from my experience, everyone has been so lovely, so kind. They are, first of all, just incredible people. I should add a point 4, which is hang out with some Argentines. They're so fun and interesting and just like so warm-hearted. There are obviously folks, whenever a big group comes to town, there might be some folks who are a bit like, what is this? But we've done our best. We have a lot of local partners. They're very aware of what's happening. And by and large, 90% of people are extremely grateful we're here because normally this town would be very dead right now. It's not yet kind of peak summer season. So most of the cafes are very grateful. A lot of the venues we're working with are grateful that we're filling them. So that's my sense. But if anyone has any other kind of more nuanced takes, we can add them in the Telegram group. And just like, don't be an asshole, you know? Like, be polite. Everyone you talk to in the cafe, smile, say hi. Yeah. We're also on Wednesdays and Sundays. The event is open to locals to join for any of the programming that happens on those days, for the demo days that we normally have on Sundays, for the town halls on Sundays as well. So that's a really cool chance for you to actually meet some of the folks who are here. And there are quite a few who are participating, who have actually bought tickets and will be general participants throughout the month. Anyone else? There's something at the back. No? All right, so we have about 5 minutes. Maybe you can take a moment to stretch your legs, say hi to the person next to you. I'll play some quick background music. And then we're going to kick off with lightning talks, which will give you a really good sense of what's happening throughout the month in terms of experiments and offerings. Thank you. How you doing, Roma? Just come up. Yeah. Oh, let me take a look.
Por la tarde bala negra soledad, combatea en la cabeza, va vendiendo rica fruta, con su dulce de alegría, va vendiendo rico bollo, pregonando, pregonando. Alegría, alegría con coco y anís, aguacate, aguacate los mamones. Alegría, alegría con coco y anís. tarde va la negra soledad, con batea en la cabeza, va vendiendo rica fruta, con su dulce de alegría, va vendiendo rico bollo, pregonando, pregonando. Alegría, alegría con coco y anís. Aguacate, aguacate los mamones. Alegría, alegría con coco y anís. Pollo limpio, pollo yuca y de mazorca. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na
Oye, ¿de quién es la chancla? Opa. Uy. Papa esa. Cuando llega el momento, las punteras se alinean, ya me están esperando en mi escalera. Dura linda me llama a montarme en el barco, salpa con la marea que crece en el golfo. Pero estoy aquí, algo me tiene atrapada, pero estoy aquí, la mirada perdida, una luz prendida, una puerta abierta, el miedo a partir. Súbete que te cogió la tarde, móntate que móntate, el mundo te espera. Súbete que te cogió la tarde, ¿de qué le tienes miedo? Súbete que te cogió la tarde, móntate que móntate, el mundo te espera. Súbete que te cogió la tarde, ¿qué le teme carajo? El tiempo me falla, será el miedo a perder un pedazo de vida, un recuerdo tal vez. Mientras tanto me espera mi amor, el futuro, va a echar un paseo en tierra lejana. Luz prendida, puerta abierta, mis papeles, el regalo a la tía, mareo, toalla y chancla, gafita de sol. Súbete que te cogió la tarde, móntate que móntate, el mundo te espera. Súbete que te cogió
seulement un jour de danse.
Non, c'est pas seulement un jour de danse, c'est beaucoup plus que ça. C'est le fait de pouvoir exister. Voilà, seule
Are we good to go?
possibilité d'être
Cool.
reconnu, c'est donc
Ah, amazing. Amazing. Welcome, Tails. So good to meet you in person. Yeah. All right, we're going to get started. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. All right, let's grab a seat, everyone. We're going to kick off. Check out this wonderful gift I was just received. Thank you so much. This is very sweet. From my motherland. All right. So if you're in the back and you're having a chat still, if you want to come forward and grab a seat, thank you so much. And then I'm going to ask Telemon if he's around, just to get the folks in the back. Sweet. And is Madison here? Because she will be the first to present. By the way, if you're going to present, just come sit near the front, so you can just quickly come up. And if you're presenting, you can just hit the right arrow on the keys to go forward. All right, so welcome to the first set of lightning talks. What are we doing here? What are the experiments? So ultimately, at Edge, we want to encourage people to try new initiatives, new experiments, new things that people are offering. There's a wide range that you're about to see. There's a lot of diversity here. So I hope you enjoy it. It will be quick and fast. This is all part of the co-creation. So if you see something you're interested in, get involved. There will be QR codes. I've asked every presenter to put QR codes on the screen. If you miss them, they will be downstairs as well amongst the residencies, so you can seek them out and find them and see how you can get involved. And you should get to know the leads in general. Okay, so we always do a demo day on Sundays. For those who aren't familiar, there are usually 2 key rules. The first rule is that I will time it judiciously. So if you're presenting, please stay within 3 minutes or so. If you have multiple experiments, you can go slightly above that. And then the second rule is that everyone's going to give a wild round of applause to everyone who presents. So let's practice right now. That's perfect. That's perfect. We want everyone to feel, energized and like an absolute rock star for braving this stage. All right. So with that, I'm going to invite Madison up to the stage. Please welcome Madison.
Amazing. Hello, gotta make it a little shorter. Cool. Hello, everyone. So great to be here. I'm Madison, and I'm leading the consciousness residency at Edge Patagonia. Super excited. I'm here with my friend Caroline, who's gonna help me. Say hi. Wow, hi. So I'm so excited to talk to you guys today about some of the experiments and offerings we have going on at the residency this month. It has come together to be really amazing, and people have come from all over the globe to be a part of this, so I'm really, really excited. But when we set out to kind of create this residency, we were thinking, what happens when the brightest minds in technology, neuroscience, and the healing arts gather in the Andes to deepen our understanding of the human experience? This is such a blessing and such an incredible place and terrain to be thinking about some of these questions. So it is just really exciting. And the reason why consciousness is super important for us to all be thinking about is because it is the last major gap between biology and the lived experience. And I and many others truly believe that it's the next great frontier for healing, tech, longevity, and it's still super underexplored. So this month we are trying to get into it. So we are kind of creating a month-long immersive healing lab, and there's going to be a bunch of experiments going on throughout the month, and we have a bunch of leads that are about to share with you what they're going to be offering, and would love to get all of you involved. Some highlights throughout the month. During weeks 1 and 2, we are going to be having an amazing breath, movement, sound session led by Paul and Erica Kuhn. They're super awesome. That's going to be from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. in the Wellbeing Hub. Week 3, we have Psychedelic Week with Sidao. Daily breathwork journeys. We have a bunch of amazing facilitators, neuroscientists, philosophers, a bunch of offerings, evening sound sessions, kids sound baths, and then, we're gonna have over 7 consciousness experiments going on with consciousness athletes, which I'm gonna tell you about. So we are looking for 25 to 30 what we're calling consciousness athletes to be a part of a bunch of these offerings and experiments throughout the month. The concept of this is that you're going to be a little bit more involved. So if you're one of these consciousness athletes, you'd be expected to kind of show up to as many sessions as possible, on top of wearing a Fitbit and a polar strap for the month. This is really, really interesting and an amazing opportunity to be a part of great data and just kind of the first of its kind almost in some of this research. So you'll hear a little bit more about kind of what that means, but please feel free to scan this QR code now if this is interesting to you. Honestly, being in this room right now and scanning it would give you priority to be a part of this, because we'll be accepting whoever kind of does this now first. So definitely scan this if you're interested in being a part of it. It is going to be pretty awesome, and in like 10 years from now, you can say that you were one of the first people involved in some of these crazy experiments. If definitely join the Telegram group. This will be all there. But Caroline, do you want to say a couple? Caroline is going to be kind of the point of contact for programming and logistics and scheduling. So,
hi everyone. Please feel free to reach out to me for any questions about how to get involved with all the experiments. A big part of this residency would not be possible without all these amazing people who have traveled from near and far to come run these experiments with us. And a lot of it is dependent on participation from the greater EDGE community. So any questions about how to get involved, please don't be afraid to reach out. We'll be having open working hours at the co-working space every day. That's also a good spot to come kind of chat with the researchers themselves. And we'll also be doing demo days as well. We'll have a lot of programming happening. So please join the Telegram group, check Social Layer. We're super excited about the magic we're about to create. So thank you guys for being so open to it.
thank you. You got it?
All right, I got it. All right, thank you so much. I love this Ramdas quote. You can do it like it's a great weight on you, or you can do it like it's part of the dance. That's beautiful. So we're just going to go through some of the consciousness residencies experiments that people are offering quite quickly. So first up, we have Dr. Erica Matluck and Paul Kuhn. Please welcome to the stage. Is Erica around?
I'm definitely shorter. Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Erica Matluck, and the experiment that we're going to be running is really in the technology of the self. I'm a holistic doctor, and these days I hear a lot about biohacking. And what we're going to be doing in our session is not actually hacking our biology at all, but using the biology and our physiologic form and function to access altered states of consciousness, possibly an emotional range or thought forms that we didn't previously have access to. So our experiment is 7 days, but you don't have to come to all 7 days. The idea is that each day we'll be working with a different theme. And by using that theme for the whole group, we create sort of a collective and coherent field that starts to have a consciousness of its own. And it will have an effect that might surprise you. It might surprise all of us. But so the idea is that in this practice, if I tell you exactly what we're going to be doing, it will sound like things that you've done before. But what's different about this practice is that the way we're going to do it, the way we're going to weave different elements together to create a holistic experience, meaning a physical experience, an experience of the mind, an emotional experience, and a spiritual experience, all in a 2-hour block, it's going to have an effect unlike, I think, any experience that you've had before that uses these tools, because the way that we're crafting them together is going to bring about a change in consciousness and a change in form. So please join us. So 7 days, you can come to one, you can come Monday and Friday. It will be every morning, 9:30 to 11:30 in the Wellness Hub, which is near here. And I think you sign up through Social Layer. So I hope to see you all there, and you'll see us around. Paul is not here right now. He is walking our 4-year-old son in a stroller, who is pretty much always dressed as Superman or the Flash. So you've probably seen us already. Please come say hi, and hope to see you all tomorrow morning.
Amazing. Next up, we have Kate. Round of applause for Kate, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kate. I have been to most of the EDGE events. Before Pop-Up Life, I worked in mental health, and then I brought that perspective into the startup world. And while living full-time in pop-up cities, I got really interested in how people connect with each other and how we manage our energy and our health. So over time, that turned into a couple of social technology experiments that I built. So I'm going to tell you guys about some of those now. So I have this, I don't know if you can see from back there, but oh, I guess you got the big guy. So this is a social battery that I designed. On the top, there's a meter, and the lightning bolt moves so you can tell people what you're feeling on the inside. So you might be really ramped up, you're ready to talk, you want to go into deep conversations. You might have that lightning the whole way up on green. It might be the end of the week, though, and you are socially hungover, and you want to come experience all that EDGE has to offer, but you're drained. So what you can do is you can tell people what you're experiencing on the outside. You can also write your name or anything on the bottom that you want people to ask you about. And so by showing people what's going on the inside, it allows people to meet you where you are and have more authentic connections. So I'm going to be running an experiment. Everyone is welcome to participate, and all you have to do is have a social battery pin, which you can get from me, and then at the end, before you leave town, I'll have you fill out a survey. And we will also have 2 meetups throughout the month to check in. You can come whether or not you're participating in the experiment, but you'll be able to talk about, what's draining you, what is charging you up, and we can also talk about ideas to recharge together. Next. Another simple tool that can help people connect are these decode bands. This is my 3rd iteration that I've done, and what happens is there are a number of colored beads, and each one represents something different, and so you get to make your own, and you will put the colors that represent you on the bead, and when you see other people wearing them, you can simply ask what one of their colors means as a conversation starter. So for me, and last time this happened, everybody forgot what all the colors meant. So I'm going to put flyers up everywhere, and there's a QR code that will also tell you what the colors mean. For me, some of my favorite colors are the white. I'm an introvert, so sometimes you'll see me with a ton of energy, and then other times I'm just like, I'm here, guys, but we got to take it slow. I also really love the light pink. It means I'm up for a game of rock, paper, scissors, so I hope we get some competitions going on around that. And then my favorite is the heart. The heart means I am here, I'm someone who can support you. So that leads to my last experiment. I really want to set up a support network for all of the amazing people here at Edge, especially because we have such a great community of people offering wellness services. And even if you're just someone who says, you know, I'm a really good listener, I'm here if somebody just needs some time, I would love for us to come together. I'm holding a wellness meet and greet tomorrow from 5 to 7 for people to meet each other, and we'll have lightning talks at 5:30, so you can tell the group kind of this, but a little more intimate. It will be here at Le Village in the hotel lobby space. And yeah, so you can share what you're doing. And then at 6 o'clock, I'd like to have a discussion on ideas of how we can create avenues for people who get overwhelmed during the month, because it's very easy to do with so much going on. And yeah, so just how can we support each other? So please come by tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to meeting all of y'all. Thanks.
Amazing. 10 points to Kate for following my instructions to add a QR code, but it's teeny tiny right here in the bottom right. So if you can't see it, there'll be all the information you need in the Telegram group right after. All right, Vaso Computation Edge V1. Welcome Nick forward to the stage, please.
Who knows what this is? Has anyone heard? Raise hands. Cool. Oh, that guy. Tell me something about it. Okay. I went on a run with him. I tried to explain it in 20 minutes, so I have to explain it in 20 seconds to you guys. Also, shout out Mike Johnson. You guys know Mike. Mike is great. He sat and thought about this for years on end. He's a thinker. I'm an executor. And Warren Winters is also an executor. Honestly, these are words. I'm me. So the vascular system and the nervous system, if you were to overlay them on one another, this is like neurons, your brain, this is blood vessels. They are really close to one another. And most people think that the vascular system is just plumbing to basically shuttle nutrients to our good old neurons that like do all the compute and consciousness that we care about. I think they're much smarter than that. I think they might be a place for long-term storage. They basically have musculature wrapped around it, and the clenching of the musculature can basically determine how much information might get sent to the neural tissue nearby. So we are doing the first real experiment on this after thinking about it for a little while. This is an ultrasound. You can measure it when you're pregnant. You can measure your blood vessels to prove this experiment too. And we're basically going to be measuring the lower back and the hips because we think these are like psychologically relevant regions that are easier to access than the brain. And I don't do QRs, but I have a Telegram and I have a body. So there's a lot more details to this. It will be kind of intimate, so talk to me. We'll do the formal like, hey, do you want to participate in this? Do you not? And I hope you want to.
There's really a full range on offer here at Edge City. All right, next up we have Tuche, Synchronicities at Edge. Please welcome Tuche up to the stage.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm gonna run a couple of experiments, so I'm gonna tell you about all of them one by one. First of them is related to synchronicities, which is my healthy obsession, just because they made me believe from nothing to this whole consciousness and big design thing. They are those tangible signals for me, those meaningful coincidences that you have. Like my journey was, I was a research scientist at Facebook working on neural interfaces that you have just seen 2 weeks ago. The demo didn't work, but it works actually. Until I get obsessed with synchronicities and decide to follow them to go to my own surrender experiment. I quit my job, and for 1 year I did an experiment to determine my next step, following only my intuition and my synchronicities. So I have my own way of mapping, but one thing that really, really excites me about synchronicities and edge here this month. So this one, the map this is my own map from last year, all synchronicities. Each node is a space, a place, a person, something. And there are some patterns showing up here, and I met some people along this way who have some similar patterns as me. So I wanna try here for the first time to collect synchronicities as data from whole village. And hopefully with AI, and now we can find those patterns much easier. And to find, if we can find those emerging patterns from collective unconscious, if we can do it, this is gonna be the first time, maybe empirically, showing that the collective unconscious is actually real. We'll see. We'll see. This is one thing that I'm running. I will be asking, so we are gonna run a workshop talk presentation. What are the synchronicities, coincidences? How can you see it? How can you increase it? And then I will just ask you, we just opened this like X community, X synchronicities. I wanted everyone's synchronicity stories also be visible. You can so that put like, comment, share, like, learn from other people's experiences. If you join there, I think all the announcements and synchronicity stories, they are so fun. They make your month so much fun. So I encourage you to join and participate in our experiment. They say sometimes it takes a village to reveal whole collective unconscious. Let's do it. Second one is during that journey. So basically everything that I was exploring came to making how those invisible connections are visible. Everything that I'm doing right now, you'll see like under that big umbrella. So one was synchronicities, invisible connections. We are trying to make them visible. Second one is this time just a new research, neuroscience research, keeps showing up that being on the same wavelength is not a metaphor actually, and we can measure it. Like the people that you click with in the first 10 seconds, 1 minute, we can measure it from your brain signals. So this is gonna be again for the first time applying that research, that neural similarity predicts whether strangers become friends. So I wanna collect data from brain and heart signals, and hopefully just with that data, without no question, no survey, nothing, hopefully we are gonna maybe see if we can bring that research into real life, because we need a little bit accelerated connection here. I thought, that is the perfect place to actually try this. We have only 1 month. If we can find, I don't know if we can do it with this, but if we can just, match you guys from the first week, just from your brain and heart signals, that would be just so cool. For this one, there's gonna be only 20 minutes of data collection from your brain and heart. 10 minutes closed eyes, you don't have to do nothing. 10 minutes, you're just gonna watch a video. And that's it. I'm looking for some people to help on that experiment for data collection and data analysis. Please reach out to me if you wanna participate and help. Thank you. And the last one, which I'm doing it with Axel from our consciousness residency. He's gonna also mention about this a little bit, but here we wanna pass the discussion that is telepathy real or not, but want to show that, it is actually a human evolution necessary skill. And again, just because my background was electrical engineering, I studied electrical engineering and my research was between AI and neuroscience. So since I learned from those brain synchronization research, I just can't stop thinking, bringing that two things together. And they are the same, I think they are just similar, the system dynamics basically, with wireless networks. So we just want to introduce a little sync protocol that you are gonna do, hopefully daily, 10 minutes exercise with your partner, close friend, or whoever you want to partner with, that you want to practice your telepathy games. And we will see if that accelerates telepathic communication or not. And Axel is going to talk about the remote viewing now a little bit. Thank
you. So hi everyone, I'm Axel. I have background in TradFi and DeFi, but for the last year or so, I've been almost full-time all in on consciousness topics. Topics like remote viewing, like out-of-body experiences, telepathy, precognition. And so I'm curious, who here has heard of the term remote viewing? Raise your hand. Keep your hand up if you know what remote viewing is. Okay, cool. So what remote viewing is, it's a method, a protocol developed by the US government 50 years ago in order to perceive a distant location using no other than your subconscious and without any technology. So there's lots of different applications, like information gathering, scientific research, counseling, therapy, and even like strategic business advice. Some people even use that to predict crypto prices. I've been part of some groups with, I've seen varying degrees of accuracy. So it's something that there's a career in. If you become good at it, there's opportunities to go on a different path in life. I wouldn't recommend joining any kind of government agency doing this, but I think for me, the best reason to do that is for personal growth, for self-discovery. And so we're not gonna do a scientific experiment where we're gonna measure your brain. It's gonna be something for self-growth where you may have an ontological shock about the nature of reality and be surprised about what your own mind can do and potentially even rethink many of the things you've been taught to since you were born. So we're gonna meet once a week on Thursdays during lunch break. The way this works is I'm gonna teach you a very simple technique. I'm gonna give you a target number, which is a random number. We're all gonna go home, practice this in a quiet environment, and then meet the next week, compare results, and repeat. Also come to a talk this Wednesday at 6 p.m. where we're gonna present the history of telepathy and remote viewing with Tuche. And join the remote viewing channel in the consciousness residency group. Thanks.
Someone left their phone up here, so all right, there we go. By the way, if any of this telepathy and remote viewing stuff sounds crazy to you, 6 months ago I would have been in the same boat, and then I listened to the telepathy tapes and it just blew me wide open. So I highly recommend that before Wednesday's session at 6 p.m. All right, next up we have Christine. Please welcome Christine up to the stage.
Hi, everyone. Oh, hi. I'm Christine, and I'm going to be talking about two slightly different things. The first one is what I'm calling the Dynamic Health Project, which Madison talked about is part of, it's going to be part of the consciousness athletes, but also open to others if they're interested. And basically, my theory is that the body works as a system as opposed to a bunch of you can look at the body as a bunch of different parts, like your liver, your lungs, or you can also look at the body as an integrated system, and this is about measuring signals from your body to try to quantify that. So the way it works is you wear a Fitbit, oop, that was loud, that's like not that big, it was a small one, and then this, it's a polar chest strap, which is like a better measurement of your heart, like that. You wear the Fitbit throughout the month, the polar for a few days at a time, and as well as during whatever experiments you want, including a lot of the consciousness ones to gather data of this format, but also if you're meditating or exercising or whatever you want, I'm gonna have an app where you can, if you're wearing the polar, you can do a start and stop time, and I'll analyze that data, and we can do visualizations or like feature extraction, so you can look at the differences between maybe your resting state and when you're doing activity X. In addition to that, I'm going to be having a brief protocol that's very similar to Tuche's, and where I have multiple time series physiological data streams. I'm going to have EEG of your heart, your skin response, and respiration rate. And I am interested in network physiology, which is how the signals from different networks interact, which is, there's precedent that different states of sleep have different maps when you make the nodes the different systems. And I'm going to look and see if that during certain protocols maps to different health states. So that's the more science one. This one is a little bit more fun, but also combines science like at the end if we want. This is called vibe science or love science. I don't know if anybody from like New York or SF has maybe heard of it. I have a machine learning algorithm that is, it's like old school machine learning. It's engineered features with like penalized nested regressions, but it's still quite powerful. And it's on psychometric questions that are sort of strange questions. Like one of them is, I think that nuclear war would be rather exciting, or like, I like physics. They're not directly related to like what you want to find in a person, but just finding things about yourself. We had a training set of people talking over Zoom. They took the psychometric battery, radiated it, and that was what we used. So it's about liking someone in like the first 10 minutes. And we spot checked it. Most relationships are in the top 10%, and it's very common for example, my two best friends are in my top 10 matches out of like 2,000. So anecdotally, it seems to be quite powerful. We're going to have, if you would like to take it, it's about 20 to 30 minutes, so it's a little long. We will email you your top 5 platonic matches, like for friendship, and if you're interested, we will filter it for romantic matches by gender or age preferences, whatever is what you're looking for. And we will email you your top 5 with the contact information, which is like a good way to sort of make friends. We'll also have an event where we cluster you, optimizing for like higher match scores. We have an app where we extract some features and feed it through Claude, and you get an interesting little summary about how you guys might interact. And we can gather more data about how you feel when you interact with people, if desired. And that's going to be an event. It's in Social Layer. In addition to that, we're going to use this data along with Tuche's data. We hope to sort of combine it and see if it's maybe measuring the same thing would be interesting, and just having a more diverse data set would be something we're doing. The event is, I believe, October 30th. Yes, it's in Social Layer. And the deadline for completing the survey, because we need time to like process the data, is October 27th. So, okay, thank you.
Incredible. All right, next up we have Andrew, the Psi Biome Study. Welcome, Andrew, to the stage.
Hello, everybody. My name is Andrew. I am here because of Microbiome DAO and Psi DAO. Does anybody know what a DAO is? Fantastic. Okay, for those who may not know, it is a decentralized autonomous organization. It's kind of a mission right now more than in practice. Think of it as a decentralized organization. We'll get to autonomous soon enough. Microbiome DAO and Psi DAO are both a part of the decentralized science ecosystem. And does anybody know what decentralized science is, or DeSci? Fantastic. Shout out Josh, DeSci world. Decentralized science is essentially an ecosystem working to democratize scientific research utilizing blockchain technology. Microbiome DAO is focused on the domain of microbiome research, and Psi DAO is focused on the domain of psychedelic research. Two kind of like cutting edge bodies of science that are developing as we speak. And where these two cross is in the gut-brain axis. Show of hands, who has heard of the gut-brain axis? Fantastic. So turns out that 90% of the serotonin receptors that we have in our body are actually within our stomach. So clearly what you put in your body has a great effect on your mental. So we're combining these two domains of research in the Psi Biome Study, which is addressing this research question. Can gut microbiome composition predict psychedelic sensitivity? And can your dietary interventions optimize psychedelic outcomes? A lot of people have very ranging experiences on psychedelic experiences. Of course, very subjective, but also like with the same dose, right? Like the intensity, the length of the experience, the duration that it takes for the onset of the effects. And we're creating a longitudinal pilot study to collect some data that we can ask some questions to and roll into potentially a further study. Study design is a 3-phase observational study, 15 participants that are already chosen. Shout out to people who are going to be a part of this study. We're going to examine baseline microbiome profile, dietary intervention effects about a week, 10 days later. And then 7 to 10 days after that, another test after potentially using some psychedelics in a naturalistic setting. This is one of the first systematic investigations of the microbiome and psychedelic effects. There's some papers on it that kind of hint at it, but there's no actual studies that have been done to this extent. So yeah, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and we are hoping to develop this preliminary database for the SciBiome data room, and hopefully in the future be able to develop some, personalized psychedelic medicine, dietary preparation protocols, maybe some prebiotic, probiotics before your experience, before you take the trip to Peru or another Latin American country that, is the home of your ayahuasca retreat or, whatever it might be. But I'm done talking. I have a short little video to get us hype. Not the music to it. Tra la la tra la tra la la tra la la tra la tra la la tra la la tra la tra la tra la tra la tra. In your night with pleasure, boom, she pleasure. And if that doesn't get you hyped for the study itself, wait for week 3 of Edge City. We're doing a whole week-long psychedelic programming come through. It's going to be very much in line with the ethos of Edge City. Very excited for it. And thank you.
All right, Andrew, we're going to quickly move on because we have quite a few more to get through. We have about 8 more. So Viviana, if you want to come up, please welcome Viviana to the stage.
Hello everyone, I'm Viviana, and I am an artist and a scientist, and I work at the intersection of art, science, and technology in London at Greenwich University, and I love psychedelics. I super love them, but I also think that they are unpredictable. They are illegal in many countries, sadly, and also they can be really scary. So I think that they are not for everyone, but I discovered that you can reach those states also with music, and I love music. And then, so that's my research. So what I usually do is I gather people, and I have these deep listening sessions where I guide people into a little bit of a trance. I use a lot of techniques from active imagination, Buddhism, and all the things that I really like about contemplative practices. And then I put people in a room to listen to music and properly focus into the nuances of the sound for a while, for at least 30 minutes. And then the results are incredible. So people report that they actually have visions, they have insights, and they have a proper altered state. So that's my work, and Yeah, basically, I aim for a post-materialistic science, and that's the reason why I'm combining all these kind of things about spiritual experiences, art, philosophy, and neuroscience into my work. And this is something that I want to test here because I'm so interested into the capacity for music to put us into these different states of flow, awe, and peak experiences. They are super different. If you want to know more about them, ask me later. And so these are my research questions here for this experiment that I'm going to be running. So there are 4 sessions. If you can, please come to all of them because the music is super different and it's very intentional. So you are going to see the impact that they have in your relation with music and with yourself and maybe nature and yeah, maybe different thoughts as well. And yeah, basically, I'm gonna measure before the experiment personality traits, aesthetic sensitivity, mood, and heart rate variability during the session. And then after, we are going to have a brief conversation about the experience and see what happens. Usually, I do these experiments in my lab, which has at least 36 speakers, and it's like a proper trip, but here we don't have it, or maybe we do. And so I'm gonna use just stereo system, and yeah, let's see what happens. But I forgot about the QR code, sorry about that, and then just ask me, and yeah, I add you to my channel. Thank you.
Amazing. We have a blog post, by the way, on the Edge City Patagonia blog that has all of these experiments. It just went live about an hour ago, so you can also get the information there. All right, next up we have Jason with Prism. Welcome Jason up to the stage.
All right. Hello, I'm Jason, and I've been working with Happier Meditation to build Prism. So what is it? Prism is a guide to integral practice, so weaving together practices and modalities across meditation, therapy, soul work, any other things in the inner work realm. Prism will get to know you and work with you to build a personal practice plan leading to the types of wholeness that you're looking for given where you are in life, what resonates with you, all that. It does this based on a bunch of maps and models that our partner teachers would use if they were to work with you one-on-one to do a similar thing. So, we're in the early stages of building. We've run a couple alphas, and I would love to get a group from Edge City to run through it. If you are curious to explore different modalities of inner work, if you likely have some kind of existing practice that's part of your life, and if the quote down at the bottom here resonates or touches something in you, I would love to hear from you. Reach out. I'm JG Zook on Telegram. I look like this, and I'll be at the Meditation Artifacts House. Yeah, come find me. Thank you.
Amazing. All right, next up we have Nico Shi from Agatha House. Welcome, Nico.
Hello, I'm here to present Agartha House. We're one of the residencies. Who's with us? Who are Agartha? Woo! We have about 20 people, super creative, super technical from all over the world. And the 3 pillars of what we're doing is intentional co-living, personal alignment, and creative output. Intentional co-living, so how many of you have lived with like more than 10 people? How many of you really love it? Okay, that's like less than 50%. All right, so intentional co-living is not easy. If you have a lot of people, there is an art of having one getting along. There is a lot of challenges around very basic things such as dishes. So our goal for this month is to get these 20 people to live together and get them to fall in love in very friendly platonic ways. And we're gonna deal with this with shared responsibilities, meals, personal and professional support, local, small scale, 20 people governance experiments with voting, and lots of hugs and love. To achieve this mission, we are also experimenting with this thing called a collective mind. So each attendee have already filled a super comprehensive personal record and about their archetypes, preferences, goals, and dreams. And we are inputting this with a privacy-first community-owned AI agent to help individuals reach their goals, live in harmony with each other, and reflect on life beyond this residency. So we're partnering with Xander Steenbrug, who funded this project called Koru Social. And the idea is to use agent to turn scattered individual ideas into collective action and form cohesion around smaller groups. And these are some of the experiments some of our residents are excited to run, so I'm just gonna speedball through them. We have Julie, who wants to run an AI love matchmaking experiment. I saw at least 2 romance matchmaking proposal earlier, so this is the 3rd. So all the available people on the market, please feel excited to come to talk to these people and join their experiment. We're very excited to see how these experiments turn out. Julie will also be excited to offer one-on-one conversations for anyone curious to discuss anything around relationship dynamics, romance, community, and self-connection. And we have one of our resident, Camille, who's a creative technologist, excited to do projection mapping experiments with light painting. And he's gonna bring down a projector. And we have a bunch of other creative technologists in the house that might also collaborate. So if you're interested in doing projection mapping, movement, performance-related things, let us know. And this is an experiment I want to run. So a year ago, Kota and I worked on this music video called The Future I Want for the Edge City Lana Hackathon. And it's basically a whole video made with AI about existing optimistic technologies that can help picturing a brighter future, like a more protopian future rather than dystopian future. So we want to do more research about some of the most cutting edge technology in different fronts and see how can we make sci-fi short film about them. So if you're working on something really exciting or you want to learn how to make film with AI, come chat with me, we can brainstorm ideas. And we also want to do this experiment called Muse Time. So dedicating 1 hour a day for your creative flow time, and think about it as a creative Pomodoro. You can sketch, sing, write, dance, and then a lot of this idea is inspired by philosophies from The Artist's Way, this beautiful book about kind of getting in tune with your inner artist. And the goal for this exercise is to help individuals unblock your inner creative spirit by curating a very consistent window for that voice to talk. We'll be finding a good time and location for this on Social Layer. Maybe we do this in decentralized ways, maybe sometimes together in the co-working space, but I'll put this on Social Layer soon. And then, apologies, we don't have a QR code, but all the info about us and this project can be found on agartha.one. If you're interested, you can come talk to me later at the residency booth or find the Discord channel to join and say hi. Thank you.
All right, next up we have Charlie with Context Engine. Please welcome Charlie to the stage.
Thank you. My name is Charlie Thompson. I am a Solidity developer, so that means I create Ethereum applications. Previously, I've done research on quadratic mechanisms, so some of you may have heard of Gitcoin doing public goods funding. I worked on the quadratic funding mechanism as well as quadratic voting research, which has been used in the Colorado State Legislature, for example, to do agenda setting at the start of the session. And that basically just involves having kind of a number of points that you allocate to various causes, and as you allocate more to one specific region, they become less powerful. So it surfaces things that are prioritized by lots of people. So I'm very interested in governance technology and cryptography, and the software that I am working on is very much in that vein, kind of collective intelligence software, broad listening, governance software related to kind of the plurality movement. So the problem, a challenge I see with AI is that our AI debate is very low dimensional. People talk about speeding up or slowing down when that might not even be something we can meaningfully affect, especially for normal people who have, all of us have attention scarcity, I would say, and kind of information overwhelm. So how do we make this AI discourse and debate something that a normal person can look at in a kind of visualized format, understand in 5 or 10 minutes various issues that are relevant to them, and then kind of just talk to their computer to have data that can maybe train an AI agent to represent them in automated debate, automated coalition building, and ultimately help us also hold accountable political leaders and industry leaders who very often underspecify what kind of future they're trying to steer us towards. So context engine, starting off from these kind of this primitive of agree, disagree statements, which exist in other software like Polis, which has been used by government of Taiwan, for example. Once you get some people to agree or disagree, the software shows you which statements are consensus and which ones are where there's more difference, so you can kind of steer debate in a more useful direction. You can see clusters of people, and AI kind of interprets these results so that you can see kind of what are the various camps, and you can also do various soul-bound token groups so that you can split up the results based on very fine-grained things while maintaining your privacy. So this is kind of the starting point where you can encrypt your responses and then see the results in an aggregated format. Ultimately, I'm hoping for something like group prompting of AI models where you can collectively generate short form like Black Mirror episodes, both positive and negative, kind of defining futures that you want to aim for and to avoid, and then connecting those to present day policy debates. And taking it away from like kind of a survey-based data entry to something that feels more like a game, where you're maybe it's automated, it's simulated historical figures debating in an arena, and you're kind of voting for which ones, and you're jumping in, and it's, so I'm gonna be kind of shipping, doing demos every week on various variations of this, but there is a basic demo right now that you can check out, and you can see what these reports look like. So it's meant to be useful for people here at Edge City to kind of define which things are working, not working for various groups. What do we like about these events? It's meant to be for people to give opinions on how they want AI to look in their own life and for the world. I think within companies, there's a potential for valuable products to surface insights kind of past layers where maybe because of social reasons, things don't get surfaced. And then for internet communities, there's various extensions where I think internet communities will be able to earn money and train custom models where outside entities can kind of interact and earn money from that. So it's all very cryptography related. Thank you for your time.
All right, next up, we have Ollie with Meaning Alignment Institute. Please welcome Ollie to the stage.
All right, hello everyone. I'll do it like this. All right, my name is Oliver. I'm one of the co-leads of the Meaning Alignment Institute, and sorry. Okay, there we go. And I'll tell you a little bit about Mo. So, the Meaning Alignment Institute researches how to align AI, markets, and democracy with what people value. So, AI, markets, and democracies are all systems that understand human wanting in various terms, and they operate usually in a kind of a rudimentary format, like either you like things or you click on things or you kind of buy something, and that doesn't really say how you actually want to live life. And the work comes from the philosophy of values, and so we're really nerdy about how to understand what makes life meaningful to people in a kind of concrete format, so you can design new sorts of institutions around this. And right now we're actually researching markets and how to make market mechanisms that understand what makes life meaningful to people and make those transactions happen more. And I won't have time to explain this in depth here, so I will just say that a market intermediary is an AI system that helps align markets with flourishing by interviewing consumers about what they really want and paying suppliers accordingly through AI-generated outcome-based contracts. Now, it's kind of a mouthful. But we think actually a good sort of first market to try this on is the market for social events, and that makes Edge like a really good place to try that. It's easy to prototype, and there are some clear problems when social events tend to scale into the market with things like Meetup or Airbnb experiences. They kind of tend to become less meaningful at scale, and we think we can address that. And so the experiment that we will run is a Telegram bot. It's called Mo at the moment. The name is kind of TBD. He will interview you about what's meaningful to you. It takes around 5 minutes, and you will receive events and activity suggestions to have more of that at Edge. And there's no commitment to attend to anything up front. And so why would you join this? Well, it's pretty simple. You're here for a month, and we want to make your time at Edge as meaningful as possible. And I think the experience at Edge will be sort of designed to make meeting happen by virtue of serendipity. But still, even if you attend hikes or go to philosophical gatherings, it might be that a particularly good hike for you means to really have a lively conversation with your friends, for instance. And for someone else, it's about trying to be quiet in nature and really attend to the natural beauty. So this will kind of drill down into what's actually meaningful to you, and try to have more of that at Edge. Because as a wise man once said, you need to be meaning maxing. You're only here for a month, and try to make the most out of it. So I'm going to help you with that.
Amazing. Thank you, Ollie. Get rid of that. All right, next up we have Arnold. Please welcome Arnold to the stage.
There we go. Hi guys, I'm Arnold. I am the founder of a company called Lighthouse Labs. We're a governance research lab, and we've been working in the space for 3 years. Our philosophy, it's a bit of a sort of paradox. We both love and hate governance because we know that it has the possibility to make things better for everyone, but it's been 10 years and we actually haven't seen anything meaningful happen at scale. So part of our work is to explore how we can rethink this from first principles. The QR code will be on every slide, so there's going to be a lot more information that I'm going to be unpacking there, but I'm just going to go over the sort of high points of what we're going to be doing at Edge City. So, as we said, governance is noisy. Most production systems, they really underutilize crypto primitives, and there are so many of them. So, in our system, we use combinations of token logging, boosts, decays, rage quit mechanics, and also trying to incorporate DeFi mechanics, and also incentive design. And all of this can be composed such that we can make decision-making improved at a much faster rate. So we want to be able to, pause there. Right, yeah. So our goal is to effectively make internet-native organizations operate and coordinate and align at a speed with minimal friction. And we want to be seeking alignment in much shorter timeframes. Right now, as most of us know who have operated in DAOs, that sometimes takes weeks or months, and it's pretty inefficient. So I'm just going to run through some examples of what the protocol could unlock if it's used properly. It's fully built, by the way, and we're going to, again, expand more on that in the QR code. But if used properly, we can align on important ideas very quickly. Low entropy ideas can actually reduce taking away mindshare from the community. So we're not only losing, we're not taking attention away from things that truly matter. And our protocol also allows for ideas that may not receive support initially, that gather attention at a later point in time. They can eventually win. And the people who supported those ideas early are actually rewarded for supporting those ideas. So that's all I had for the slides. But the QR code really will unpack a lot more of the mechanisms and how we plan to run this in more detail. We're planning to issue some playtest tokens, so anyone can run their own specific signals board. It could either be for their residencies or a project, and we can see how this mechanism works in practice. Thank you for your time.
Epic, thank you. All right, we have 3 more projects left, so we're reaching near the end here. Next up, we have Josh with Veritas. Please welcome Josh to the stage.
Hello, everyone. This is actually my first time seeing some of the DAC project. It seems like we're all very aligned, building something very similar. So this is a different take. Veritas is Latin for truth. It was originally born out of a desire to figure out what truth was, and with economic incentives, but it sort of resulted in a social consensus protocol. So we've combined this with a prediction market, and I'm sure I'll touch on why pretty soon. But essentially what we're going to try and do is combat two problems that I see in the world today, which is we can't trust institutions to give us the truthful information that we need. So we've got a misinformation crisis. And the second is that we're frying our dopamine receptors with all the media that we are consuming. So we're going to try and fix these problems by replacing these algorithms with the free market. So essentially the free market, as far as I understand it, is the best way to aggregate information. The experiment is twofold. One is there's going to be a global community feed at Edge City. You can post any content you desire, images, videos, blog posts, thoughts, and essentially you can trade on the relevance of that content, and the best content will float to the top. The second is we're going to allow projects to list on this mechanism, and people can trade on the probability of success. We'll see what people appreciate from an ideas perspective. So this is the Telegram group QR code. If you're interested in joining, please do. I've got a bit of code to ship before this is ready, so we'll probably do this in about 7 days' time. Thank you.
All right, next up we have Ian with World. Please welcome Ian.
Hey everyone, I'm Ian. I do developer relations and a bunch of other things at World, previously known as WorldCoin. Show of hands, who likes pondering the orb? That's nowhere near enough of you, but that's okay. So, brief overview on World. We have World ID, our sort of core protocol, lets you prove that you're a real unique human online, completely anonymously and privately. That orb that was being pondered in the first image is one of the ways to verify your World ID. It uses biometrics and some really fancy cryptography to prove that you are a really unique human. Happy to chat more about that when we have more time later on. We have World App, a wallet for the everyday person. It's where you manage your World ID, and there's mini apps, apps that can connect to that wallet, integrate World ID, get distribution to millions of real people, and the WorldCoin token that gets airdropped to real humans verified with World ID. This QR code will let you download World App. It'll also be at the end. So what we're doing here as an experiment with Edge City is really quite a few different things. So we have the Edge City Patagonia mini app. This is your mobile command center for everything you need here for the month. So the map, agenda, directory of all the attendees, all in this one app. You can pay at a bunch of different local stores, coffee shops, restaurants with World App, often getting a discount with that. I will note if you're interested in doing that, normally you're going to pay in USDC in World App. And for the first 250 users who on-ramp or bridge funds into World App using the Add Money mini app who are here at Edge City, we'll match up to $50 in bridged funds. That is not quite live yet. There's a few things we need to tie up before then, so that's coming soon, TM. But once you have World App installed, this QR code will take you straight to that Edge City mini app. And for mini apps more broadly, we've done some programs with Edge City before for mini app builders. So if you're interested in building a mini app, feel free to chat with the Edge City team, chat with us. We're more than happy to help. This is a great place to experiment with these apps that sort of bridge the crypto and IRL gap. And then there's a few other mini apps that can be useful while you're here. We have an eSIM mini app, so if you need data, you can buy an eSIM. There's been a few problems specifically here in San Martin that we're working on fixing. Squadletics is a cool one that lets you earn WorldCoin by exercising. TBD lets you earn by participating in polls or surveys. There's a ton of really interesting ones there. I encourage you to look around. Ask me if you have any questions about anything. And there's those QR codes while I hand it back to Timur.
Amazing. We actually held a great fireside chat with myself and Ian at Edge Builder, by the end of which he convinced me to get orbed on stage. So that was awesome, and we'll hopefully do more stuff like that later in the month. A quick thing from me, actually. So this is an idea that I've had for a while. It's called Gold Stars, not very original. But basically, in the World app, there is a directory of people. And there is a very simple functionality which you'll be able to find someone that you meet around the village, be able to find their name, and you can send them a gold star. And we each have 3 gold stars that we can send every 24 hours. They'll refresh every day. And the idea here is that we want to just make these like very simple tokens of appreciation. It could be someone that you meet at breakfast and you have a really nice, meaningful conversation. You're like, oh, that's so sweet. And on your walk home, you just send them a gold star and make a note of why. It could be someone that gives a great talk or runs a great yoga class. Or it could be someone that you appreciate from afar. But it's just like something very simple. It's fungible. It's not like a social credit system where you have to like rate people, but it gives us a sense of the connections that are being formed. And it's just like a cool, fun thing. And everyone loves getting a gold star, and you'll get a little notification when you get one. So highly recommend you send 1 or 2 or 3, ideally, every day to anyone that you come across. So that's mine. And then last up, we have Max with Refs. Please welcome Max to the stage.
Hello, everyone. I'm building Refs, and I'm calling it a social network for the illegible. What I mean by that is if you look at the way our identity has changed online over the last couple decades, we started basically by porting our physical selves online on early Facebook. We gained these like semi-coherent cabals, so much so that we could form starter packs and digital stereotypes about them. And then now we have this totally incoherent set of like loves and fandoms and articles and things that we read, and our digital identity is basically being split apart. The problem is that none of that is actually represented by the platforms that we have today. We have like low-dimensional mediums, and they're really in service of curating a singular vibe. Somehow the stuff on the left over here like feels incoherent, doesn't really make sense, but it still feels more real to us. So the experiment that I'm running here at Edge is, would it feel better to connect with each other as the sum of our references? Could we build profiles that feel more like us? So the first attempt that I've built at doing that is something super simple. It's a directory for Edge. So you can build a profile, see everyone else who's here, pinpoint some interests that you're into, and see who else is involved. The goal is to figure out, how can we build profiles that actually feel like us? Some thoughts, and I'll demo this for each of the subsequent 3 weeks at Edge, but where we might go, I'm thinking about building it as a really incredible logging app that eventually unfolds into a social directory, and so I'll demo that next week. And then Refs has actually been built as an open protocol. So the goal here is to be able to have one digital backpack where you keep the things that you love and are interested in and can fill that into all the plethora of apps that are being built today. How you can help, we're creating an Edge directory here, so feel free to sign up and make a profile. That is also going to launch tomorrow. And outside of that, come find me if you're interested in this stuff too. I'd love to have your help building it. All right, cool.
All right, thank you, Max. That's it from us today. Thank you all so much for joining and for all of the amazing presenters. Next up, we're going to go outside into this kind of courtyard area, this green area just out here, and we'll have different tables set up where all the leads of the different residencies will be able to tell you more about what they're up to. You can go up to them, meet them, ask them questions. And then at 6:30, we'll go to the opening ceremony. It's about a 10-minute walk towards the lake. And there you'll get food vouchers, so you'll be able to grab a meal from a bunch of different vendors. I think there's drinks as well. So yeah, it's just going to be a lot of fun. And we'll see you there. Thank you so much.